Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mo again. This time we're going to be installing DNS on the second server. We need like an additional DNS server for backup for fault tolerance. So watch this. I have server one and server two up. Let me just log on to server one and show you. So right now I only have one DNS server, and I could tell actually by looking there's only one name server. Go back and log on to this machine and install DNS on the box. But before I install DNS, I have to set up this server as an additional domain controller, as a replica, right? So I need to host Active Directory on it, right? And then I'll be concerned how DNS is going to actually sync on it. So first, I want to give it a static IP address. Let me see what number I got, and I'll be pointing to my server one for DNS. So let's give it a moment. Let me see what I got over here. And let's take a look at the network settings. All right. Let's see. So I'm going to be using a static IP address. Let me just check status details. So 162, that's the next available number, and DNS will be pointing to server one. So this is 162, right? 192.168.223.162. Default gateway is .2, and DNS will be pointing to server one, 161. Then okay, then okay, then close. Let me change the computer name, right? Udemy SRV2, right? I'm not gonna put the suffix, okay? Udemy SRV2, then okay. Because once I make it as a replica, automatically it's gonna go ahead and do what? And add the suffix to it. Let me close and restart. After this, I'm going to be installing Active Directory domain services, and I'm going to promote it as a replica. It's going to be an additional domain controller. That's what I'm going to have. Let's give this a few seconds until it logs in. All right. Let me look at a full screen actually, so you can see better. All right. Why not? We're only looking at one box right now. And let's give it a few seconds until we get there. There we go. Let me do this again so it does the screen better. Still. Right? Okay, there you go. That's what I was actually looking for. All right, let me just put the password and log on. So my first thing that I need to do is install the role Active Directory Domain Services. Let me actually do that first. Active Directory Domain Services, and then promote it to be an actual replica, right? That's what I want. Let's give it a moment. All right. I'm gonna wait. It's better to wait until it refreshes instead of like forcing it. I'm gonna wait until this actually stops loading, right? It looks good right now. There you go. So now I could go manage, add roles and features, next, right? And install Active Directory domain services and all the way through. Because right now I only have one DC. Remember, I only have one domain, one forest, one tree, and the tree only has one domain, which is a parent domain, udemy.local. This one is going to be a replica, like an additional domain controller to the parent. That's what it's going to be, an actual replica. So let's give this a few moments. After it's done, I will promote to a DC. Oh, it's called SVR32. That's fine. So that's right now. Let me see. SVR. Yes. Okay. It doesn't matter. The other one is SRV1. This is SVR 32. Nobody said anything. All right. Let's continue. Because if you notice something, if I go back to my initial server, I only have one name server. I open the TCP folder. I only have what? Just for Udemy SRV1. This means there's only one domain controller that is hosted, right? From DNS, I could judge everything. I could tell like how many domain controllers do I actually have? Like DNS actually tells me everything too. DNS is like the backbone. If DNS crashes, guess what? Nothing in your organization will work at all. Nothing. Let's see. This one's almost finishing. Let me promote it to an additional DC. There you go. So it looks like it's finishing up. All right. Almost there. These roles, are you going to be installing them like every day? Of course not. We're just doing this for practice. 90% of the time, or even 95, you'll probably never do this. Everything's already set for you. In some cases, I probably need to add another replica. Maybe the company's hosting a new branch office. I need to set up like different domain controls in a different site. I would probably need to work with domains and trusts. My organization is going to merge with another or is going to take over another company. So these are not common things that you'll be actually using. Okay, let me look at a full screen. And over here, Udemy dot local, right? Change, and I'm going to put Udemy slash administrator and the password because I'm trying to make a replica. And next, right? I'm not going to put DNS yet. Okay. I'm going to make it as a GC, just a GC. And let me put the password. And next, 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 and install. This will take time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. And when it's done, when I reach the logon screen, I'll be back. So we'll see you folks in a moment. All right. It's actually back. All right. Let me actually log on and show you. There we go. Let me just put the password. I don't have DNS yet on server 2. But if I go to my initial server and refresh over here, look what I see. I see the other records. Look at this. See that? It generates all the records, which means I could tell that it's hosting Active Directory. But if I check under the zone, I do not see another name server record, just one still, right? Which means everybody has to be pointing just to one DNS server. My job right now is to install DNS on the second server. Even though if I do that, I'm not going to see the zone there. Okay. The zone will not be in the list. So let's give this a moment. And I want to install DNS on the second server. This is something we did through Active Directory sites and services in a previous lecture. But it's something I want to go over again so you actually can see that in action. Let's wait until once I see the file server, that means I can go to manage and add the role itself. So let's give it a moment. Almost there, right? Refresh. Let me see. Manage, add role and features. There you go. All right, so I'm going to go next, next, as you see, next, and I'm going to put a check mark only for what? Just DNS. Because I want to have at least two name servers. When I say two name servers, that means two DNS servers, right? So I'm going to put a check mark in DNS, add features, next, 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 and install. All right, let's give it a moment. Why will the second server DNS will not get populated? Well, guess what? Do you remember? I have to go back to the first server and store the zone in Active Directory. If I don't store the zone in Active Directory, the zone is locally on the C drive under server 1. So it's not going to replicate to the additional domain controller. So let's take a look and see. Let me cancel this. We're going to come back to this. And I'm going to see what is the difference. By default, I have dynamic updates, but then there will be an option for secure only, right? We'll see that. But for now, the DNS is just getting installed here. I just want to make sure that we actually have DNS on the second server and the zone will not get populated, right? That's what I want to see. Let's give it a moment. Could be finishing up. Remember, you could always close and it will still be installing in the background, right? Yes. It's almost there. Should be finishing up soon. There you go. Now, I'm going to go to tools. Let me refresh this, and I should see DNS in the list, right? Now, if I go to tools and open DNS, expand the server, expand forward lookup zone, I see nothing because the zone is not stored in AD. So in the next lecture, we're going to see how we can store the zone in Active Directory and how it's going to replicate to the second server. We'll see you folks in another lecture in a moment. For now, bye.